Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Cleveland. Janie and I are back from the sunny state of Florida. We spent almost 2 weeks recording and re-recording new trainings, old trainings, all to be remastered and redone for you. So I've been talking like 10, 12 hours a day in front of a camera with a green screen and everything. So watch out. There's going to be some pretty cool things coming your way shortly. So today on the deal reveal, we've got a big deal, or maybe you don't think it'll be a big deal, but it's funny when we go on vacation or we leave and we're like, okay, we're gonna focus on something else. That's when all the other deals come in right now. I mean, Amanda's closing a deal on Monday and maybe two in the next 2 weeks. I don't know if you're on the call, Amanda, but good job for you if you are. You are, so that's fantastic. So shout out to you. Um, and a ton of the members of the community are doing their thing. We on ourselves just got two accepted offers, a single family, a duplex, and we're going to talk about a 12plex that we're working on right now. And we're going to see how maybe one could structure a no money down deal, and does it make it a deal or not? So it's not just about buying with no money down. It does have to be a win-win for everybody. So let's jump right in. We are going to go in, and I do want to remind you that the giveaway, the opportunities to become JK ambassadors 2.0 are there. So our first set of ambassadors sold out. All right, there's none left. And so, as promised, we are going up one rank. Now it is 888 for the next 10 spots. In fact, for the next eight, because there are already two of those that were taken. And so, if you're interested in this, info at nowfortomorrow.club will send you, and you're going to be the first ones to be notified as we relaunch, as we launch our new programs and everything. You're going to be the first one, and that is a price that you're going to be locked in for life. So if that's of interest, you know how to get a hold of us. All right, so 12plex in Cleveland Heights, Ohio. Let's see if we can get excited. We're going to take a look at this fast. I'm going to try to give you as much of the story. In fact, for those who do become ambassadors, JK Beta ambassadors, you will have the full-blown story where I give you even the backstory to the deal. I spent half an hour recording a case study for this property, but I didn't want to bring it to the deal reveal because it is a, it is an active thing going on right now. So this deal was submitted by VD. VD happens to be a gatekeeper, a remote gatekeeper out in New Jersey, who found this particular deal, brought it to me, and here we are now. So 14154 Superior Road, Cleveland Heights, Ohio. Seller, or I mean, it was proposed to be sold for $380,000. That was the starting point of the deal, plus the disclosure that there is a $166,000 point of sale. Point of sale. Meaning, if someone wants to buy this and assume that point of sale, they're going to have to put $166,000 with the city in escrow before even starting to do the work that this property needs. And so not a small chunk of change. So let's see if we can turn this lemon into a deal. Are we ready? A 12-unit apartment building, deal reveal style. Here we go. All right. So first and foremost, we're going to start in our friend Google, and we are going to type in that address, and hopefully my internet's going to keep up with me here. So 14154 Superior Road, Cleveland Heights, Ohio. I'm just going to take this on here. Since we are in the multifamily 5+ space, the value of a building is based on the net income it generates. So I'm not going to go to realtor.com if I want to get a sense of its value. I'm going to go straight to rental meter, and I'm going to type it right in here. So I put the property's address, and it is actually 10 one-bedrooms and 2 efficiencies or bachelors. So as it stands, The rent, you can see here, let me make sure. Yeah, I'm in the apartment space. That's perfect. And you can see on the map where the property is located. We got blues around it. So average about 900 per month. I'm going to speed up a little bit of the story here. The opportunity for such a large renovation is to convert all of those one bedrooms and efficiencies to two bedrooms and one bedrooms instead. So that's going to make a big difference on the income. Might not look like a terribly big difference on the income, but you'll see in a minute how this is the plan, and this is basically where we're going to go with our rent estimates. So if we have, let's say, and the renovation that I'm going to be talking about here is going to be a very large renovation, and basically everything is going to get done in this property. And so we should be actually above the average and the median. We should be closer to the 75th percentile, but I'm still going to use 1050. I'm going to use 1,500 rent per month on average per month, and there's 12 units. So that means there's $151,000 a year gross coming off this apartment building. Since we're in Cleveland Heights and we're going to do a good efficiency on the utilities and everything, I'm going to use the 50% rule. Now, normally we would be a little bit higher. There'd be less expenses. But since we're in Cleveland Heights, I know taxes are high and I know utilities are high. And so I'm still going to be conservative. Even though we are optimizing it, I'm still going to stay at a 50% expense ratio. So this property would generate $75,600 net a year, based on the 50% rule here. And after reaching out to a realtor who transacts and trades often and knows that the market cap rate for a finished apartment building that was done from head to toe is a 6 cap in Cleveland Heights right now, which means that this property is worth 1.26 million after the renovations are completed. So that's the ARV of the property, which we calculate for 5+ commercial lending assets like this one. Now, if we're buying it for $380,000, you can understand that there's probably a spread. But you bring the teams in and you realize that the bid to get everything done is $480,000. Okay, $480,000 plus $166,000 needs to go to the point of sale for the city. Plus you need to buy the thing for $380. It comes out to a lot of money. Yes, maybe the spread is there because 380 plus 480, we're at like say 850 all in. And then holding costs and whatnot, let's say we're at 950 all in, and there's an opportunity to make 1.25 million, so that's a $300,000 spread. So that could sound quite interesting. Maybe it's too big of a project. Probably is too big of a project for a lot of you listening, but this is the idea of you put in the work, you increase the value, and on this one you could flip, or you can burr, get most of your money back out, and hopefully cash flow on the other side. Okay, so are we buying the property at a discount? Looks like we'd be all in for about 900, 950, and it's worth 1.25. Fantastic. Next is, does it cash flow, right? So here, actually, if the market cap rate is a 6%, if you're buying your property at a 6 cap, and your financing is at 8 or 9, well, someone buying at 1.2, 1.3 million would not cash flow off this deal. And so that could be a problem. Of course, if you're all in for 900 and you keep it, I'll skip the numbers. You're pretty close to break even on your cash flow on this particular deal with those numbers. And so I'm going to look at this as a flip opportunity. I know we don't do this often, but Cleveland Heights, those taxes and those utilities really bite into the gross income and hurts the cash flow. So I'm going to look at this as a flip opportunity. Now, a 12plex. Buying at a discount is super important when you do a flip, of course. Buying cash flow is not that important. Not for you so much, so long as you can sell it, and so long as the market is supporting that 6 cap, you sell it at just the market cap and you cash out the equity, the 300,000 on this deal, say. Okay, but if you listen to my tag or the intro to this, you heard me say that buy this no money down. Sounds like pretty far from a no money down deal right now. We have a massive $500,000 renovation. We need to put a down payment on the purchase price. We need to put the point of sale escrow 166,000. We need to put in holding costs, right? If we buy the property, then we have to pay the taxes, the insurance during the length of this renovation, which at best is 6 months, and that's if you probably have 3 teams running at it. So really, it's a more of a 9-month project, 12 to be safe. So that's 1 year of taxes and insurance. Just that is $35,000. Just those two expense categories, plus the mortgage, which is probably going to be $5,000 to $10,000 a month on a short-term rental on a short-term loan like rehab loan. This is big money. How to do you do this with no money down, right? So I actually, what are we in, 10 minutes in here? Okay. So I'm gonna tell you the story really quick and condensed. Show up to the building, we meet the co-wholesaler on the deal. His name is Jeff, and we walk the property with Jeff, and we get to know, we joke around, we laugh. It's a big deal. They've been trying to sell this property for a year, and it's vacant, by the way, and just it's a mess right now. It needs a ton of love, ton of money, and no one's bitten on it. No one bites. No one has bitten on the last year. So that's that. And start to run some numbers in my head and all this, and come to learn that they have a mortgage on it, and they're thinking at about $5,000 a month, right? This owner holding a vacant building like this, you still have to pay taxes and insurance, and they have a mortgage. $5,000 a month in the hole every month is what they're going. So they're motivated, right? I don't care how well off you are on the other side. If you can support that type of negative cash flow, you're not happy about it and you're motivated. So there's that going on. However, when we get to the conversation about, okay, you're asking 380,000, it needs all this work, it's worth this amount. Okay, the spread is there, but the seller at 380 is selling at a loss. So that was the first key to the puzzle. At 380, they bought the property 3 years ago for 475, and now they're selling vacant with ton of repairs needed. They let it go to hell, and they'd be selling at a $150,000 deficit right now if they sold at 380, which is the asking price. It's not even negotiated at this point, so it's even more than that. Okay, so that's going on. Come to talk, oh my God, they're selling at a deficit. Like they must be hurting right now. Just the taxes, the insurance. I don't know if they have a mortgage. Yeah, they have a mortgage on it. Oh my goodness. Okay, maybe that can save the deal. What's the mortgage? The mortgage is, and we end up collecting the information right through the due diligence. The mortgage is right here. There's $310,000 left on this mortgage at 4.99%. That's a very attractive rate. Right now, you'd have to double that rate pretty much to get into something similar to this. So they're paying $2,000 a month, and $1,000 of it almost is principal. So it's almost half principal and interest, which is pretty sweet. For 5%, 300, and they're selling for 380, and they would have to pay closing costs and this and that, and then they'd have to pay the mortgage off. So they're walking away with nothing. They're just cutting the $150,000 loss from just the past year, and the fact that they bought higher than what they're selling. So just a rough situation. So then we go in, okay, there's this attractive debt, and if you've followed our creative real estate programs and courses, or the blueprint, you know that if there's an attractive debt, you want to maybe try to see if you can keep the debt in place. That would be 300,000 that we wouldn't have to go get in the deal. And so how do you keep debt in place? Many different ways. Again, in creative, in our course, we teach you how, but ultimately one way is to buy the company, buy the entity here instead of the property. Turns out you can't do that because they own another property in this company. Okay. And then we try to do this, we try to do that, and ultimately a subject to deal where we ask the bank to see if we can transfer or do a wrap loan around it. Ultimately, it wasn't comfortable. Do a land contract where we just defer the sale to a future point in time, and and then when we sell the property, that's technically when we buy it and then sell it, so that everybody wins, hopefully. Problem with a land contract is that we'd be putting in 9 months of work and $500,000 in a property we don't own, which is a huge liability and risk. Now, that's there are ways to protect ourselves in that type of situation, like quit claiming our name onto the title of the property as a safeguard, or putting share options in place with a certain trigger criteria where if they don't do what they was supposed to do, which is maybe like not sell it to somebody else or not run away or ghost us or whatever, if they do what they don't, if they do something they shouldn't do, then we could buy shares of their company for $1, and that would wrap in the other property it owns as well. So that could be their incentive to not do anything shady, because we're putting time, and we'd be putting time and money on the line with that. All that to say, these are not no money down deals. These seem to be, they're possible. There are ways to structure the deal, but ultimately, can we think of something better? And then through these conversations, and then I just woke up one morning and I thought about this. Well, how about this? And I took some notes so I don't forget. And I try to put this. I know it's a lot throwing at you, but I'm trying to put this, in so you can understand it on a first listen. What if, rather than buy the property, or rather than control the property, we JV with the seller, and on the back end of this flip, right, which very conservatively is 1.1 million, 1.2 is the target, 1.3 or 1.4 would be the awesome, amazing, we got this, right? What if, and I love the comments in the chat, everybody. Amanda, subject to, and we covered that. And Isabel, rent to own. Rent to own would be something, but again, you would be the renter of something that needs $500,000 worth of work, and you're even in a worse position, higher liability than even a land contract. So it's just because the renovation is so big and the project is so huge that those options, they're possible, but I don't think it's what would protect you the most or us the most in the deal. So what if we JV with the seller, and on the back end of this flip, split 50-50? Seller leaves the existing debt in place. So if we JV with the seller, they're still the owner, right? And so there's no point of sale, right? There's no change of ownership, there's no sale. So there's no due on sale clauses that get triggered. The point of sale doesn't exist anymore because there was no sale. So that's 166,000 liquidity saved. And in the deal, we would ask them, we would help them find, but we would, they have to bring the financing to they're still the owners. And so let them, with our help, secure the very best financing to do a rehab, right? A fix and flip rehab loan. Let them secure the financing for the deal, and then we bring absolutely everything else, okay? And so with this, we're able to line up a $1.1 million sale. That's about a $300,000 split of profit, 50-50, 150 each. Now 150, if you remember, that was their current deficit on the property. So either they sell to us right now and they lose $150,000 for sure, or they do something creatively with us and they have an opportunity to walk away without losing anything, and potentially at 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 still make a profit out of this terrible situation. Now that is a win-win. Along the way, there are gatekeepers, and they were going to get paid $20,000 to put buyer and seller together. That's fantastic. Well, it could be an optional proposal here. So instead of, now there's no sale. With a joint venture, there's no sale, so they can't get a wholesale fee. We'd have to either pay them on the side or loop them into the net profits of the sale as well, so that maybe they get paid more than 20,000 on the back end, and it keeps them in the deal with a vested interest to make sure the deal goes well. So they might bring their resources. They may have teams to provide to the deal under our management and whatever, but everyone's working together so that everyone gets paid, and gets paid as handsomely as possible. There's no loser in this situation, only winners. The benefits of this: you avoid that point of sale escrow requirement. The existing debt stays in place. Cheap, cheap, cheap money. The seller has a strategy to not lose money out of the deal. Seller has a potential to make profit up to 100,000 at a $1.3 million sales price, and they stop the bleeding of 4,000 a month, because as soon as the property, one unit's renovated, it'll get rented. And so boop, oh, there's an extra $1,000 coming in. Another one gets renovated, boop, another thousand, another thousand, another thousand. So we're stopping that bleeding. And right now, no one else has proposed anything. No one has come to a sales price. The spread is there, but the project is so huge, no one else wants to jump into something like this. And so now they have a solution on the table to stop the bleeding. What do we bring to the story, right? What do we bring? The strategy, this proposal, that all came from this side of the table. The solution, the experience, the statement of work, the timeline, teams, 2 to 3 teams working full time for 6, maybe 9 months on this. We'll start the work without anything. We'll start it out of pocket, and then the rehab loan is going to replenish, pay the people and keep that ball rolling. There's no spread or profit on the project management itself. So we'll do all the work at cost. We're not putting, getting paid extra during the time. And so they're getting cheaper labor as well by having us in the deal. And they have a built-in project manager that they don't have to pay extra for. They're just part of the deal. So what does the seller bring? Patience. They do have to wait another 9, 12 months until the sale happens to finally clear their books, but they'll clear it with maybe $150,000 less negative. That's pretty sweet. And they do have to bring the financing. So the existing financing that's in place, that's fine, but the rehab financing on top of it, or if they just want to put in another $500,000 cash, no problem. If they want to finance the renovation, we'll take it. But ultimately, if they do get extra financing, it's on them. It's on their credit, or we just do an asset-based loan like we normally do. And we've already offered to provide them one of our asset-based lenders. In fact, we already have 2 pre-approval quotes for it. And what's difficult here was that if we were to buy the property and leave their existing mortgage in place in first position, no matter how we would do it, it's more difficult for us because we're the new buyers to then qualify for a second position loan, especially if the second position loan is a larger mortgage than the first position. Because the rehab is 480,000 plus the point of sale another 166, and where the purchase price is only 300 and something, it just makes it really, really difficult to finance just where the numbers lie. And so how do we safeguard our position in all this? We can quit claim ourselves on the title. We can put the title in escrow, so if they mess up on this or that, we just become the owners of the property. Yes, of the mess too, but hopefully, we've secured a good foundation for the deal. We just kicked out the seller. Not that we want to kick them out, but if they try to screw us over, we need to be protected so that we can, be whole and still be profitable at the end of the day. I mentioned a share option. So again, if they mess up, we just buy units. We buy out their company for $1. And all the while, another safeguard is the property is getting better every month we're involved in the deal. Whereas right now, the property is only getting worse, and it's costing them $4,000 or $5,000 a month just to own it and do nothing with it. So hopefully this gives you a good idea how now you can see that we can get involved in a 50-50 partnership, bringing our skill sets, our teams, our experience, our solution, our strategy to the table for no money down, be part of a flip that can generate 300, 400, unlikely $500,000 spread, which we would split 50-50 with no money down, right? No money down. Even though there was 166,000 point of sale, even though there was a $480,000 renovation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So as we speak right now, right, Vidi and Jeff are having conversations with the owner up to this point, and we've been going back and forth every day or every other day trying to build something that works for everybody. And at this, this morning, the seller was open to any solution where we can take over debt. And I had used those words. Is the seller okay for us to take over the debt regardless of how we structure it, right? And I got a green light on that. And then, you know, they didn't have this particular in mind. I didn't have this thing particularly in mind a few days ago, but now it's there. And I really do believe it is the best solution for us. Very little risk other than our team's time, and ultimately it is a flip at the end of the day. There's no guarantee of profit, but the spread certainly seems to be there. We would absolutely need to be protected in the deal. But on the seller side, there's an opportunity to actually make a profit instead of for sure lose 150,000 to sell, which they're willing to do right now. And that avoids, you know, those high interest loans, those short-term loans, all that stress. It's on the seller's back. So everybody's motivated in the same direction. So deal or no deal? A little bit longer. It took a little bit more to explain this one. It's not your bread and butter duplex that you're buying with tenants already built in. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about a 12-plex that needs a miracle. And hopefully we brought it to the table for the seller. We'll see if the seller recognizes that. And if they say no, that's okay, right? That's okay. We're not going anywhere. Next month, they're going to be $5,000 more in the hole and that much more motivated. Maybe in a month, maybe in 3 months, we come back and we say, listen, it's not a 50-50 split anymore. It's a 60-40 flip in our favor now. We got other projects on the go. Our teams are not available. We'd have to pull them off this to put them there, which is true, right? We just got 2 properties under contract, which is 3 more units that we need to renovate. One is going to be a flip, actually, in Euclid. Nice, we found that one. Another one is a duplex to make a short-term rental right near Edgewater Beach. So, you know, on top of the 7 projects we currently have on the go, actually 6 now, we're going to add 3 more. And so it's all a matter of timing. It's about motivation. It's about posture. It's about bringing value to the deal at the right time. So with all that being said, deal or no deal, certainly depends. Amanda, this is next level, but great learning. Thank you. That's awesome. Glad you were able to get some nuggets out of this particular case study. So that's the deal. It's not closed yet, but as many conversations as you can put together like this, eventually some cross the finish line and you focus on those. Those are your diamonds, right? Would you agree that this is a diamond? If you pull it off, no money down, no liability, and, you know, a nice $200,000 spread at the end of 9 months. That's a lot more than most people make in a year. And you got everything on the table. You just need knowledge, practice, you know, people around you to support you through the deal, and off you go. So I'm going to remind you all, if anybody here wants to become a beta ambassador for JK or with JK, just send us an email, right? We got the next tier has been unlocked. And so you will be locked in at 888 moving forward instead of 799. It will never be lower than 888. Like, this is it for these 10 people, 888. Send us an email, info@nowfortomorrow.club. We look forward to seeing you there. Have a great one. Enjoy. And this is it. Do now for tomorrow. That lifestyle you deserve is waiting for you. Take care. Have a great evening, everyone. We'll see you soon.